Hello and welcome to the Overly Animated Podcast, where we take animation seriously. We provide fan-oriented and analytic discussions on a variety of animated shows, movies, and anime, currently including Steven Universe, Gravity Falls, Star Wars Rebels, Moonbeam City, Ruby, and Adventure Time. I'm Dylan Hysen, and today I am joined by Sam Quattro.
Hi.
Today, Sam and I will be discussing for the first time on this podcast, Adventure Time.
It's actually nighttime. It's not today.
Sure.
Tonight.
Sure. We will be mostly talking about the first 5 episodes of season 7, which aired last week. And we'll also be giving a general overview of the show and previewing Stakes, the miniseries, which will be airing next week every day. So this is the first time we've discussed Adventure Time on this Overly Animated podcast. If you are new to the podcast, you can find out everything about us at overlyanimated.com. Recently, Sam and I have written combined 3 articles on Adventure Time there, so you can check out our writing on the series. We'll be referencing them throughout this, and we plan on talking about Adventure Time potentially every episode. We'll see, though. Probably we're going to try for podcasts every day next week. That might be tough, but it's actually yeah, exactly.
It's gonna be really hard, Dylan.
For me too, actually. But it's actually only Monday to Thursday. For some reason.
Still gonna be hard.
We'll see. We'll in some point throughout next week we'll cover every episode of Stakes in some form. There you go. Okay. Let's get into this. Like I said, overlyanimated.com. So there's 3 things basically I want to do here. First, I want to talk about the current state of Adventure Time, how we relate to Adventure Time. Just because we've never talked about it before, like what are our biases and stuff about the show. Then I want to talk about all 5 episodes from last week in some form. And then I want to kind of generally discuss Stakes. Okay, there's our outline. You ready?
Sure, Dylan.
Okay, so let's get this general overview discussion started with me talking about my article on overlyanimated.com. I forgot what it's entitled. I need to bring up the website. But it was a quote unquote good article. So I don't know.
What does that mean, good?
It's I think I bring up interesting points. I'm not sure if people look at the series this way. So my article is entitled Adventure Time is the animation stalwart that still has it. So in this article, what do you mean don't what in my title?
Repeat your title again.
Adventure Time is the animation stalwart that still has it.
What?
It's an unusual word, but
that's like an SAT word.
There you go. A thing which is always there. That's a stalwart.
I agree.
So in this article, I compare Adventure Time to The Simpsons, and I say Adventure Time is the non-comedy adult-oriented animated version of The Simpsons.
I mean, it's been like 5 years.
See, that's the thing. Like, I had this. I started thinking about this. So basically,
maybe it's like SpongeBob.
I hadn't watched. SpongeBob is actually probably a closer analogy. I hadn't watched Adventure Time since 2013, and I marathoned the second half of season 5 into current. And in my head, Adventure Time's just always been around. And it's like started in like 2000, but no, it started in 2010. So it's interesting. Basically my point is that, this is the show that kind of has spawned the current realm of animation more so than any other show that's still on the air. And I think you could argue the only other one I think is close is SpongeBob. It's like, Simpsons has spawned Family Guy and every other current version, including like Rick and Morty into Archer. I think Adventure Time, obviously it spawned Steven Universe, but I also think it's responsible for basically every show on Cartoon Network. A lot of shows on Nick, because really Nick has gone more in the comedy, non-action realm of kids animation.
They have some stupid show right now.
I would say that is a descriptor of every show on Nick.
I'm going to look up their shows.
I think every show that they are is a stupid show now. But
if you hear me typing, I'm looking up Nickelodeon shows.
So yeah, and to me, Adventure Time is just at this point it is a staple. That's another one for stalwart. They don't mean the same thing, but they're getting across the point I want to make in this animation realm of non-adult comedy animation, which is everything else except for what seemingly dominates American animation. So my other point is that Adventure Time is unlike The Simpsons, which I mean, I stopped watching The Simpsons like 5 years ago, but when I stopped, it was still good. Like, a lot of people think current Simpsons is terrible, and I think that's probably not true, but it's not close to its peak. I think Adventure Time is still somewhat close to its peak, if it peaked around season 3 or something. I think that it's still good. So that's what I mean.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
Yeah. So even if it struggled to find its footing somewhere in season 6, I think it's recovered, and it's at a point now where it's still really solid.
Also, the super show I'm thinking of is called Pig, Goat, Banana, Cricket.
Yeah, you just made up a show name.
No, Dylan, it's literally a show.
That's not true. That's definitely not a show.
No, it is. I'm gonna link you, dude.
Could you make a more random show title?
No, I couldn't.
I'm
not crazy.
You won't be seeing Pig, Goat, Banana, Cricket coverage on this podcast. Maybe it's a good show. Maybe my bias for this title. I mean, Adventure Time isn't a great... I don't know. It's a pretty good title.
Regular show isn't a good title either.
Yeah, and apparently that show is good. So
I don't.
That's my current take on Adventure Time. It's still good. It's doing okay. So here's the other thing. So yeah, that was just a dumb general overview. Adventure Time is really appealing in its mythology and world building. There's a solid 30 to 50 elements of this show that it just cycles through. Like, once every season we have our Marceline and Bubblegum episode. We have our Jake and Finn's parents episode. There's just countless
BMO episodes.
There's a BMO episode. There's just so many things they just constantly cycle through episodes for. And the weird thing is that they're kind of all good mythological aspects. Like, even if the BMO episodes are kind of silly. And, I don't know what else this show has. They have the Simon and Marcy episodes. They have the
Root Beer Guy.
They now have, the Root Beer Guy episodes.
Cinnamon Bun.
They have Cinnamon Bun and Flame Princess episodes. There's just so many things. And it didn't used to be this way, but they've expanded to a point now where if they're just, the show is now just, we're going to check in over here. We're going to check in with Prismo. We're going to check in, with, Finn's dad. We're going to check in, that's just what the show is now. Except for this miniseries that's coming out, but that's kind of, you could say that's what it's devolved into, and I think that's both an accurate and misleading representation. Accurate because I think that just checking in on various plot lines here and there I argue this in the article, it is an inherent storytelling flaw that prevents the show from being truly great. Like, this show, it cannot be as good as Steven Universe if it is this unfocused. Do you agree with that or not?
They can be good in two different ways.
That's a legitimate point. That's a counter argument. You could say shows don't need to be so focused in their storytelling to be truly great. I think I disagree with that. I can't think of an example that has been of a show that's been this unfocused and has achieved an incredibly high level of storytelling. Yeah, this is one of the best that I can think of the show that's done this type of thing. So that's why I think whatever I was saying before on one hand. On the other hand, I'm still very interested in almost all mythological aspects of the show. So, like, even if it can't be truly great, it can still be very good and appealing. Yeah. So, I don't know. What do you think of that?
I don't know.
To a certain extent, the show is still trying to find its footing in a post Rebecca Sugar, post Akko Castuera. Like, the show has lost many people. So post
many fatalities.
Post Pendleton Ward showrunner. Like, he's not the showrunner of the show anymore.
He's not?
No.
When did that happen?
It happened in season 5, after season 5 ended. Adam Muto is the showrunner now.
Well, I feel okay with that.
Yeah, it's someone internal. Like, he's one of the better elements of the show. Jesse Moynihan, I think, is the head writer, I believe. And Pendleton's still involved, but, he's not running the show anymore. It's a completely different crew. I mean, it's not completely different. It is
just like SpongeBob.
Why is it just like SpongeBob?
Steven Heidelberg,
yeah,
the guy who made it. I'm actually looking at the SpongeBob Scorpions on Wikipedia right now. I'm dumb. Steven Hillenberg. He was like all about the SpongeBobs, but then, the movie happened. He was like, see ya.
Yeah. I mean, it's very rare for a show to maintain its showrunner into its 7th season.
Is like, hold on, is a creative director the same thing as a showrunner?
No.
Okay.
I mean, these are made up titles. It depends, what the shows make those titles mean to them. But that probably means he's in a more of a consulting role now with the show. So,
well, I'm talking about there's this one guy, Derek Dryman, who also apparently works on Adventure Time. He was the creative director.
Okay, that's enough of BS titles in shows. Like what does co-executive producer mean? That means different things in different roles. Okay, so credit to Adam Muto for keeping the show on its feet. I think Cole Sanchez is still here? Question mark.
He is. He is also a creative director.
I don't see him having written or storyboarded anyone's this season. He may have left this season. He's definitely there at the end of last season.
When you say this season,
Season 7, starting with Bonnie and Nettie.
There has literally been 5 episodes.
So he could have just not. I mean, I don't see him anywhere on the page, the Wikipedia page yet, but we'll see if he... we can click his name and we can figure it out. This is not that. Anyway, the show has lost its kind of core group. Then again, not lost its core group, it's just in flux. So, we're past it's entering the point of regression where you'd expect a typical show to regress in terms of quality. Its staff is changing, so we'll see we'll see how the show deals with that. But season 6 is where you would have expected it to regress a lot. And I thought season 6 was kind of solid. What do you think?
I agree. I also think it was solid, but it was, like I said in one of my articles, it was very cerebral and very sort of more about finding your place in the universe than previous seasons. I think
it has this whole thing at the end of the season with the comet and this crazy space stuff that makes no sense.
There's a lot of crazy stuff.
That's another, that's another one of the 30 to 50 elements. The space episode, So rather than kind of have a concrete finale with the Lich or with Billy, we had season 6. We had this finale with the comet and how Finn is this celestial being, ancient celestial being, which apparently is a thing now. And yeah, I didn't think the season 6 finale was great, but I'm glad we're not having another Billy episode.
No more Bill. Well, Billy's dead.
I'm done. Well, we had a Billy episode at the end of season 5, despite him being dead.
Well,
so
he's still dead.
Yeah, well, I'm done with Billy. I'm done with the Lich. I love what they've done with the Lich. I love.
Oh, I love Sweet Pea. He's my favorite.
Do we have a Sweet Pea episode to discuss? No. So Sweet Pea.
Oh, but Sweet Pea is so cute.
I just love in theory that they take the pure force of hatred. I told you this, of hatred and evil.
Told me that.
I haven't told them, the other people.
Them.
Okay. This pure force of hatred and evil, and turns it into the ultimate innocence once it's provided with the elixir of life. I just love that thematically. That being said, Sweet Pea episodes are kind of bad.
So cute.
I don't know if we need more.
He's so cute though.
I don't know if we need episodes
you are you're such a fan of cute things.
No, Sweet Pea's great.
It's cute.
That's we have our Sweet Pea episode. That's another one of the 30 to 50 elements. So
I feel so overjoyed.
Will you be sweet to me?
Oh,
there. I need to work on my Sweet Pea impression. But yeah, so the show is exploring different things. We move past our Flame Princess era. Personally, Flame Princess I think might be my favorite character on the show. I love everything they do with her. I love the current role she's in, although I wish we'd check in more. My favorite recent episode is
that's the name of a movie. That probably is the name of the episode too. The Cooler.
The Cooler, yes. I loved The Cooler. Wow. Way to take my favorite 2 characters and stick them in an episode and have magic happen. That's what The Cooler is. So, yeah, another thing the show has been doing recently, I guess we're going to go longer than half an hour because we haven't even started discussing the 5 episodes, is a giant... You talk about this in your... Did I already close out the website? No. Let's plug your article.
Which one?
Your review of Bonnie and Nettie. Sam wrote, Princess Bubblegum is a bad person, is her title of Adventure Time, Bonnie and Nettie. So in that article, Sam astutely points out a long-term plot line that they're doing with Bubblegum, involving, I'm not sure how you characterize it. I think I have a different view, but it's like, it's complicating Bubblegum's character. It's like, think about Princess Bubblegum in season 1. She is Finn's love interest. She's a princess, and that's kind of all she is, right? And now, Princess Bubblegum in season 7 is a deposed ruler who has complicated relations with the people. A composed ancient being ruler who has complicated relations with her subjects, and is still trying to do good despite being super I don't know, 1984ish, you know. So like she's the whole arc with her spying on her subjects and her giving that up, and then she does it again, and it's just this kind of I think it's the show's best element right now. Is Princess Bubblegum, how they're handling her. It's, I think, just far and away the most fascinating thing they're doing with the show. Nothing else comes close to a long-term plot thread, which is this complex, kind of in terms of character motivation and everything. Also referenced in the Cooler too. So it's so what do you think? So you kind of classified Princess Bubblegum as a bad person. What's your kind of view on her right now?
Well, okay, so I mean, she's not a bad person. I don't know, she's just.
It's hard. I mean, it's hard.
It's
right?
hard.
She's doing kind of evil things, but at the same time, are they evil or are they in the benefit of the people she's serving?
I don't know. She's kind of a bit of a control freak. I mean,
definitely.
She made all of these people, and she spies on them.
Yeah.
for
sure.
Anyhow, does that make her a bad person? I mean, maybe not. I don't know. I guess she just kind of needs to figure out what to do without her not her immortality. I'm thinking about like Xena and
I think she is immortal. I don't know.
She's a piece of gum.
Okay, but that doesn't make her
that
doesn't make her not sentient on the show, you know.
This is like that song, "What If God Was One of Us?" Just a stranger on the bus trying to make his way home. It's like Princess Bubblegum is like on a stranger on the bus trying to make her way home.
Quick question: who is older, Marceline or Princess Bubblegum? Marceline, right? Because Marceline existed before the Mushroom War, and
Marceline is like 1,003 years old. Bubblegum is like 800 something.
Well, yeah, that's the type of numbers you might find in a wiki of a show, which aren't actually stated
literally
on the show.
Have you ever played that game, Dylan?
Played what game?
Let's see, what's it called? Adventure Time, explore the dungeon because I don't know.
Okay, so it's in a game that's not core show material. That's fine.
It is canon. It's canon, Dylan.
Yeah. Not show canon, but you know, but canon. Okay, that's fine. So Princess Bubblegum is 800 years old. Okay, so that was when did we get that revealed? It was in one of the episodes I marathon. So it was either late season 5.
It was the one with the girl. The
what?
Who?
Oh, it was late season 5. Late season 5 had some incredible episodes. I will say that. Incredible episodes. Wait, I actually think it was season 6 though.
There is a hole in my sweater.
That's good. Sorry. I don't remember. It was one of these, and it was like the genesis of the Candy Kingdom. And Finn's like, BB, you're not 19. You're like a bajillion years old. And she's like, yeah. Like, that was great. That was like the turning point in Bubblegum's character in the show.
The Vault. That was what the episode
The Vault, yeah. Season 5 was pretty good. So yeah, I don't know. We don't need to spend all our time talking about Bubblegum, but she's just incredibly fascinating.
Yeah.
Okay, so we started talking about that. Let's transition into Bonnie and Nettie. I would say I want to kind of spend most of the time talking about Bonnie and Nettie environments, and just minorly touch on the latter 3, which aren't that interesting. But I really like Cherry Cream Soda. We'll talk about that episode. So Bonnie and Nettie, Sam's review you can check out on overlyanimated.com of this episode is basically about how this episode is a metaphor for autism with the character Princess Bubblegum's brother, who's Nettie in the title. Okay, so talk about that for a little bit. Summarize that.
About that for a little bit.
Summarize this. Your points.
Okay, so how it looks like to me. I don't know how to summarize this, Dylan.
So you're saying that
thank you. Yeah. Just do my work for me.
Sure. You're saying that Nettie is I mean, basically at the end of the episode, Bubblegum's like, certain people are wired differently and we just have to, like, do the best we can with them or something, right?
Yeah.
And that's kind of summarized the episode. She has this brother Nettie who has trouble with various things. They're at they go through the history of, we see Bubblegum's genesis.
It's really cute.
And just dripping from the mother gum or whatever. Yes. Yeah.
She falls into water, Nettie falls onto a rock, and it's all downhill from there.
Yeah. So, Nettie, he gets calm. I don't know how to phrase it, but by sucking the roots of the tree, and he excretes, what do they call
it? Candy juice, something like that.
Is it juice? That's what I thought it was. Yeah.
I don't. It's in the article, Dylan.
Candy juice, yeah, which is used as water in the Candy Kingdom, apparently. So, you pretty clearly infer this as him supposed to be supposed to be being autistic, and you kind of criticize the show for its you kind of carefully word it, so I don't know how to describe it. It's almost a careless treatment of this intricate subject.
Yeah. Sam from a week ago. Let's see what you wrote.
Yeah, so you basically think that Bubblegum's being a jerk with him and that they're using him. She's using him for her benefit.
Maybe it's not like so cut and dry like that. Maybe it's beneficial to the like greater good and to him as well, but it still like sucks, The
episode presents it as clearly the thing throughout. Whenever we see Nettie doing something, this is clearly the thing he wants to do most, is just sit there and suck the roots of the tree.
Yeah.
So the show kind of presents it as this is what he wants to do, and Bubblegum is just put him there anyway. But at the same time, she like never visits him, right? And,
yeah, he's like behind this door that's guarded by these like banana split people who just love each other so much.
Super old, and a lot of banana guards this week, last week, whatever. And I think on the surface, the show presents this in a positive light for Bubblegum, but look beyond the surface and you'll see that this is not the greatest behavior, Like there's
it just leaves
a lot of things to take issue with. It leaves a bad taste in your mouth.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
Yeah, I could tell. Yeah, what?
That's one of my.
In what way does it do that?
I don't know. It's just like.
Now, there's two questions. You could take issue with how Bubblegum just approaches this, the character, or you could say the people who made this episode are.
I don't want to make accusations like that.
Tom Herpich and Steve Wolfhard wrote it based on the script Bible. You could say that they didn't treat this subject with enough care. I think that's a legitimate point you could make.
I mean, I could make it, but I don't know if I want to.
Sure. Yeah, you that's kind of how you wrote the article, is hesitantly, it seemed like.
Well, so, it's a subject that I'm not really like well versed in, so I don't want to like go around making accusations.
I mean, I'm also not the most well versed in it, but I have. I had kind of more somewhat frequent interactions with an autistic camper at camp when I was a counselor at. So I don't know, maybe I know something about it. I read this as autism too. I think a lot of people just seemingly read it as like mental illness in general. And I think that's also possible.
Yeah, I agree with that as well, but I think the clearest analog is the
I would agree with that based on my experiences as autism. And the point you make that I most agreed with in your article is that this show has 11-minute episodes. You're going to take one episode and do this is the autism episode. You're not going to be able to make to treat the subject in a satisfying way.
Yeah.
Like, this show is too short to be able to broach a complex subject like this. I think that's the main point. It really just has to leave things in kind of a unsettling state. Like, we don't get resolution into whether Nettie is being treated right. We don't get resolution. We just get this one line from Bubblegum at the end, and it's kind of a nice sentiment. But I think that it was maybe a mistake to try to do all this with one episode. Maybe.
Yeah, but then again, I feel like with Adventure Time anyway, it's like they sort of set things up in one episode, and maybe they'll revisit it like a couple episodes later, like a season later even. So
yeah, this is one of our 30 to 50 elements now.
This might not be the end of Nettie.
Yeah,
but
I don't think that it's a negative overall. I was maybe more positive on it. But I would like this revisited for sure. If we want to make intricate points about how a complex subject in our world works, then you should revisit this at a later point, because 11 minutes is not enough.
Yeah.
Overall, I thought Bonnie and Nettie was the second of the 5 this week, I guess, in terms of quality. Like, it was interesting. It added a lot to the show's mythology, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So all these episodes are in the context of the King of Vu, the one true King of Vu being
the King of Vu.
One true King of Vu being the Princess of Vu. I love how he's still a princess. Like, it's just the princess.
I hate
is
him.
Like the one true King of Vu is clearly the least sympathetic character on. No, not him. No, he's an unsympathetic character. I had a speech and I was like, which character did I have the speech ready for? And it's Finn's dad. It's not him. But
yeah, Finn's dad's like
Finn's dad is the worst.
But he's not a problem anymore.
One True King of Vu might be the second worst. But like, it's yeah. So what do we think of all these episodes are in the context of this? What do we think of taking Bubblegum away from a leadership position? Like the role that she was constantly. And I think it's an interesting way to explore her character more.
Yeah, it's like I said in my article, she can just take time to her cabin to have some character development.
Yeah, and also it lets us do stakes, so that's good.
You can have a vacation.
Yeah, with her boo Marceline, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Which we'll talk about in a second. But yeah, so I think it's an interesting framing device. I like the show doing different things. Here's the thing. The show has gone on for a long time now, and the question is, should it keep going? And I think that the answer is yes, because the show constantly evolves its mythology. It's not content with what it established in season 1. The show is completely different than what it established in season 1. We have episodes like the whatever that we talked about, the vault, and episodes like Bonnie and Nettie that just change what we thought before. And ostensibly we are revealing new information as we go along, but in reality we're just tacking things on to what was
are
before.
We revealing or are we retconning?
Well, I don't think the show necessarily retcons, except with Bubblegum being old, which I don't think was supposed to be a thing. Like, I think that to a certain extent that retcons the whole thing when she was young. Like, why does it matter what?
Yeah, like the whole
if she looks 13 or 19,
the too young arc.
Yeah, I think
that kind of didn't. Yeah.
I haven't watched that in like years, but
maybe she just like walked along and just slowly just like gathered gum.
I guess, yeah.
Onto herself.
But regardless of what we're doing,
or candy.
Regardless of what we're doing with previous mythology, the same thing with there's that one episode which showed the genesis of Ice King's crown.
Evergreen, I really like that episode.
Yeah, that was.
I like that one of the elements is candy.
Yeah, it was the elements were candy,
ice, fire,
and what was the last one? It's yeah. You're yelling at us. I know. I'm sorry.
I'll look it up now.
It's but it's another Adventure Time element. It's not a real element, but
well, I like candy as an element.
Okay, and
slime.
Yeah, slime princess, and like that episode introduced Gunter as the one who dons the crown originally, and then I just personally Gunter's always been the best character, and him turning into the evil thing at the end of last season was the best thing ever. But like, it's okay if we just kind of change the core mythology / tack onto it. It's not planned. We don't need to pretend like it's planned. But as long as we're not just constantly doing the same thing over and over, and we're building things up, then the show clearly still has value. And I don't think we're anywhere close to a point where the show could end yet.
Yeah.
Like, I think it'd be a clear disappointment if it ended after season 7 because of the kind
well,
of...
good news for you. It got renewed for
It
season
did get
8.
renewed for season 8. I mean, that doesn't necessarily mean anything, but yeah, I mean, these seasons are 50 episodes long, so we have a long while until even season 7.
Also, Finn is like 16 now.
Finn is, and it aged Finn. Like, we just get it revealed in the either finale or the one before it that, Finn's 16 now. That's great.
It was this past finale.
So all the characters are older, I guess. So that's good. Yeah, so I think that this props to Adam Muto and everyone else involved with the direction of the storyline. I think it is going in great places.
Sure.
Okay, let's talk varmints. Kind of one of, I assume, Sam and I's shared favorite, one of the 30 to 50 elements is the Marceline and Bubblegum past relationship arc.
That's
which has
the
been
ship.
going on for a while.
Do you want to know a fun fact that's actually kind of awful?
Sure.
I started watching the show because of that.
I mean, it makes sense.
It was freshman year of college. I was like exploring things and like I was like on websites and they were like, "Hey, this is a thing," and I was like, "Wow, let's watch Adventure Time." And
before Korosami, this was the only kind of
it was
the only gay ship in like any animated kid show, right? Like, there's nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now all of a sudden we just have every show do it. Now we have Steven Universe, and now it's like a common thing. So that's cool. But I mean, it's not common enough, obviously. And it's even in this even within this show. So your review of this episode, Varmints, called Adventure Time Varmints, Marceline and Bonnabelle sitting in a tree, and in it you kind of criticize the show for not explicitly stating their relationship yet. Is that a correct characterization of your viewpoint?
I think so, yes. I don't know if that criticism really comes without... I forget what I just said. I don't know. I feel like Cartoon Network or the writers feel pressure from the powers that be not to state anything about it.
That is definitely true, like 3 years ago.
Yeah, the mathematical thing that happened.
The thing at the con and one of the whatever VA talking about it, or the storyboarders. I don't even know what it was, but
nowadays it's like,
yeah. So
why not?
One thing you state in the article, which I kind of disagree with, is that you're like it's kind of an explicit thing in the comics, which I have no idea about.
Well, you gotta read the comics.
It's apparently is an explicit thing in there, so it should be in the show too, which. I agree with like the overall sentiment of that. Like, if you can do it in the outside source material, obviously you should talk about it more explicitly in the show. But like, I think all Marceline and Bubblegum within the show has always been characterized as this past relationship and these two exes kind of exploring their current feelings for each other within this kind of universe where they're just eternal beings. So you have to kind of go back to this person who you were going out with in the past, and what's your status with them now? So I think within the show, it's always made sense that they've just never been a current couple because they're exes.
Well, yeah. I get that, but like,
and I think that's a super interesting dynamic to explore
around
too.
The bush and say that it wasn't something that it like.
Yeah, they could say it more explicitly, yeah.
Yeah, they could say it more explicitly, and they, like, towed to the line as much as they could. But I feel like a show with Adventure Time, they would be, like, upfront about something like that. Like, hey, like, that's my ex-girlfriend.
If we're still in a universe where Adventure Time, the writers of Adventure Time cannot call them ex-girlfriends, then Cartoon Network is just absurd and needs to go away. Like, you have a show where just... every character is gay in Steven Universe, right? Like,
yeah.
Like, what do we do? What are we doing? Just why is this show suddenly different?
I feel like if it was, like, say, like, Marshall Lee and, like, Bubblegum or Gumball and Marceline, it would be, like, pretty explicitly stated that, that they dated in the past and that they're exes. Because that's something that Adventure Time does. They're pretty explicit about, like, their exposition and backstory and whose, like, relationship was with whose.
Yeah. So here's what I think's going on now. In season 3, when this became a thing, which apparently was only in 2012, 2011, 2012.
It was like 2011.
Then Cartoon Network had barred this from being a thing, and it was clearly their fault. But now, I don't think they care as much. However, they kind of set a precedent where they kind of beat around the bush with talking about their past feelings. So I feel like it's at this point is kind of like the Marceline and Bubblegum aesthetic is like not explicitly mentioning their past, and like kind of it's just not even like it's calling them ex-girlfriend, not calling them like girlfriends and stuff. It's like they don't give us details really at all, and it's kind of just how these characters approach the relationship at this point within the context of the show.
Yeah, I guess.
Like, I'm not sure so much it's them being barred thing rather than a creative decision. Like, I've kind of been able to watch Adventure Time. Like, basically, most of my viewing of Adventure Time has been in 2 marathons. Like, I marathoned up to season 4 or 3 or something, and then I marathoned from 5 to 7, right? So there's a portion where I was watching week to week. But, like, I feel like viewing it like that has kind of enabled me to, like, not care that this has not been not care that Marceline and Bubblegum hasn't been a thing. Like, viewing the show like long term, it's kind of just like this really interesting relationship dynamic. And if you're someone who understands how heteronormativity works, then you understand that from the beginning that they were exes, right? Then it's kind of a dynamic that only makes sense within the mythology of the show, to like eternal beings constantly interweaving their past and current feelings for each other. And it's just really interesting.
I feel like you're almost calling me shallow for... Like, I don't watch the show.
No.
I don't... Like, that's not the sole reason why I watch the show. I've been able to, like, block out... I feel like watching it week to week gives you... Or you're, like, more aware that this is just... It's been 3 years and they still, won't call them that, right? Yeah.
Like being a fan of something every week, and I'm sure I'll experience this now with Adventure Time, you're more aware of just kind of the production elements of it and the time of it and stuff like that. I don't think it's a bad thing to have this viewpoint, but I guess ultimately that I'm reacting like this makes it so that the conclusion is they've handled it well within the show. Like, that's all that I think you can conclude based on my viewpoint, is that they've handled it. They've been able to block out the outside pressures. Credit to Rebecca Sugar initially and others. And like, I've just been able to create this kind of interesting in-show dynamic, regardless of whatever outside influences have barred them from doing,
Sure.
I don't know. That made less sense than I wanted it to.
I don't know.
In conclusion, if varmints, like...
We haven't even actually talked about the episode.
If we had like an episode of, in the next 30 episodes, when we get back to the plotline, we have a flashback of them going out and kissing and stuff, like that would make sense within the genesis of their relationship, right? Of the plot arc. So
maybe it'll happen in Stakes. I don't know. So
like this just not being a thing, it's like if it's going to continue to just constantly dash around them, the relationship elements of them, then it's going to be more overtly a problem within the show.
I don't know. My thing is, I want to get like straight. I don't solely watch the show for the ship. I'm not a knucklehead. Let's get that straight.
I mean, I think you are a knucklehead, just not in this. Area.
Oh, excuse me. You're calling me a knucklehead?
That's a nice Adventure Time type word to use. You're a dinger. That's what you are.
No, I'm not a dinger.
Dinger. Isn't that what Bubblegum says? She calls Marceline a dinger.
You're a weenus.
Oh, something like that, right? The show has just this really appealing, like, lingo to it, yeah. Like those types of things. Anyway.
Knucklehead is my lingo. I'm not a knucklehead. There are very wide variety of reasons, such as Sweet Pea, why I watch this show.
Let me try restating this better, because I've been really inarticulate with this.
Like an hour.
Just marathoning the show, the show is good. The show is handled this well enough that I haven't thought about, why aren't they stating this relationship more explicitly, right? They've handled it well enough in show to make me not question that. That's basically what I'm saying.
It's not like my disbelief is like suspended, or it's believable. It's realistic.
Yeah.
to the show and its like thing. But on the outside and the reality that I live in, it's like, well, if it's a duck, you call it a duck.
And as we discuss this more, like, and analyze the show now on the podcast, I'm sure I'm going to be more towards your side, you know? Like, I can't just stay in universe anymore, you know? I have to start to think about the show outside of that. And I want an episode of them, a flashback episode of them together, right? This is not only for this reason, but just this is a part of the show's, like, timeline, which we haven't really explored yet. We've seen the beginning of Bubblegum now, and we've seen where Bubblegum is now. We even saw her building the Candy Kingdom, which who knows where that is on the timeline, but like what in between? And this would be a great like window into that time period, I think.
I don't know. I just wonder how the comics play into the show. If they're like two like alternate timelines, who knows?
I don't know anything about the comics, so.
Oh, they're cool. You should read them.
Cool. I should catch up on the Avatar comics first.
I feel like I was gonna say something else, but I kind of lost it.
Varmints is really good. It explores their dynamic in a way that has not been intricately explored before, and it's just really good.
Darn Vermits in a pumpkin patch.
Yeah. This episode is also the most bubblegummy talk.
Also, they had guns. They look like shotguns.
Bubblegum's gun is really cool. She can just set it to make thing a battery.
Peppermint Butler threatened Marceline with it. Like,
Peppermint Butler is an interesting character.
He's ruthless. Where's his side episode?
Doesn't he have one? I don't remember. He did. There was very little Peppermint Butler in the parts that I marathoned, which was like the past season, 2 seasons. But like he shows up at Prismo's place. I love Prismo, by the way. I'm glad he's resurrected.
Does he show up?
He's at Prismo's. He's in Prismo's party, yeah, in that one episode.
Okay. He also shows up with like Marceline's dad.
Yeah, that was before.
Death.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, there's a death episode too. Okay, so I really liked Varmints. Cherry Cream Soda. So one of the most notable episodes to me of recent Adventure Time in the part that I marathon is Root Beer Guy in season 5, which was Graham Falk's first episode on the show. And initially, I thought that this was... Wait, no, it wasn't. JK. He did Shush earlier in the season too. So this was one of his first ones. But this episode seemed like it was like a guest storyboarder episode. Like they have those every once in a while. By the way, I hate those. Please stop with these guest storyboard episodes.
Like weird and like funny.
They're weird.
I like the April Fool's one where it was like the glitch one. It's the only one I like.
It's like it just takes away from the kind of complex storytelling they're trying to do now, because most of them aren't even canon. Like, oh my goodness. So like Root Beer Guy seems like this guest storyboard episode, and then he's just works on other episodes after that. Apparently worked on before that, but it's just the super genre episode. Like I love this type of episode. You focus on this random new character and you have them interact with your main characters kind of tangentially. This episode is a Doctor Light companion light episode of Doctor Who. It's like exactly what they're doing here, and it's great. And it's Root Beer Guy. And I just love the character they introduced and what they do with it. And then I love that Root Beer Guy like continues on in the mythology of the show. That's so interesting. And then becomes the guard, and then he sacrifices himself, and now we're going to follow up on it with Cherry Cream Soda.
Did you know that Cherry Cream Soda is voiced by Anne Heche?
I looked that up today. I was like, who's she voiced by?
Anne Heche.
That's so random. Like Anne Heche is a big actress. I didn't even know that was Anne Heche. Like, and I heard Anne Heche for years on Korra. You know, like
played Sue.
Yeah. So
now she's Cherry Cream Soda.
So I loved Cherry Cream Soda, the episode. It's a great idea. We should have more about Root Beer Guy and Cherry Cream Soda. I don't like that Root Beer Guy is not resurrected as Root Beer Guy. I kind of just want Root Beer Guy back.
He's the dirt guy.
No, he's dirt guy, yeah. So
I like Root Beer Guy because Root Beer is my favorite soda. It's the only soda I will drink.
What about hard Root Beer Guy?
Yeah.
Yeah. But the best part to me of Cherry Cream Soda is when we flash back to them being created and Bubblegum just fills each one up with soda. And it's like, you're married now. That's so great.
Oh, Bubblegum, you're so awful.
Bubblegum's great. And then later, Cherry Cream Soda is discussing them with her and Rupert Guy, and she's like, we just got married so quickly. Like, we never had time to explore each other.
We never dated.
We never dated. It's like, yeah, when you got created, Bubblegum literally said you're married right after that. So it was that. I love that.
Oh, they were like all shy with each other.
Yeah, it was so good. It was great.
I don't like Scruffy.
Well, do you think Bubblegum was
Starchy.
like? Do you think
Scruffy is
what's his name again?
His name is Starchy.
Starchy, yeah.
Scruffy's Futurama. They're both
Starchy. Yeah, I like that we bring in Starchy here because Starchy is a side character who doesn't get that much attention. Yeah. Do you think Bubblegum was like drunk during creating? Is that what they were trying to do? Like, she was drunk when creating these two. It's kind of random. It's kind of unintelligent for her, you know.
I don't know.
She's always so calculated, and this is kind of just, I'm going to be whimsical here, you know?
All of the candy people are kind of stupid.
Yes, that is definitely true.
They are all very not smart.
So did you like Cherry Cream Soda?
I did.
Okay, Mama said this is a super weird episode.
I didn't really get I didn't get the song. I didn't understand.
The song at the end is apparently a song that exists. So,
well, we're gonna have to look it up.
It's like this old folk song, I guess.
Well,
so yeah. So this
King
episode,
of Boo, Flying Mushrooms,
King of Boo, Flying Mushrooms, and Billy's ex, whatever her name is, I forget.
Canyon,
and
Giant
she's cool,
woman.
but this episode was kind of nothing to me.
Yeah,
not that it's nothing, but like certain episodes of Adventure Time that there's like definitely inconsequential episodes, and certain inconsequential episodes to me take on their own meaning, and certain ones like this one are just like, okay, this happened.
Well, at least Finn and Jake are fired from Koo's service.
Yeah, I guess that's what I like. That we're just exploring Koo more,
King of Boo,
like this the new reality of the world.
I hate him so much.
Do you have anything else to say about Mama Said?
Banana guards.
Yeah, banana guards. I don't.
Mushroom facts.
Oh yeah. The mushroom. Yeah, that was the best part of the episode. Was the mushroom just stating mushroom facts, and Finn's like, well, at least we're learning. I don't know if he said it or someone else. At least we're learning a lot about mushrooms now. Yeah.
Here we are.
Football. This was our BMO episode of our rotation.
It was very interesting. Like
I will say, I really love BMO.
I love BMO too.
Yeah.
Cute.
This episode, this is just inside BMO's head. I mean, overall, to me,
or is it?
Yeah, well, it was. But overall, to me, this
or is it?
To me, this is more on the side of a nothing episode rather than a nothing episode to take on its own meaning. But I love BMO, so it's kind of cool.
Football, I love you.
BMO's voice is great.
She also voices Lady Rainicorn.
Yes, and she voices a character on Gravity Falls.
She was a storyboard artist at some point in her life for Adventure Time. I don't know what she's doing now, but
the gendering of BMO always just throws me off. Like, I'm always like she for BMO, but they always call BMO he. So in reality, BMO is a machine. He's
a robot. They are a robot.
I assume they don't really have a gender, but yeah, they call BMO he.
Oh, BMO.
So yeah, okay, rank these episodes. I'm going to go Varmints 1, Bonnie and Nettie 2, Cherry Cream Soda 3, Football 4, and Mama Said 5.
I agree.
Cool. Wow, we agree.
Like, it's not that hard.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. People might disagree.
Well,
okay. I also think that these 5 were, like, the last 3 to 5 were kind of surprisingly quiet. At the end of season 6, we kind of just had plot episode, except for Be Sweet. Like, there's so many plot episodes in a row.
To be honest, I didn't really watch Be Sweet, even though it was Sweet Pea, because Alice P, like, it's just not a good combo, because Alice P is like the bratty teenager. I don't like her.
It was not a good combo, but do you not like Alice P? Alice P is like a lot of people's favorite character, I think. I
like Smell's favorite character. I like Alice P as like a concept, and like as a quote machine. But
in reality, Alice P is one of the least sympathetic characters.
In reality, she's a teenager, and I hate teenagers.
Just a side note, I don't understand, now that we're talking about something, most characters on Adventure Time, even if they're evil, like the Lich, just are kind of appealing and like, in like this Adventure Time kind of way. It's like they're these interesting characterizations. Like the Lich is evil, but he's cool. Like I like what he represents on the show and stuff like that. like Finn's dad, I don't really know what they're trying to do with that. Like, it was super dark for this show. Like, we're just hammering home the point that some people are jerks and some people's parents can be jerks, you know?
Susan Strong.
Yeah, what about Susan Strong?
What's that about? What's her
she was in one of the recent episodes.
She has, like, cybernetics in her head. She's not a fish person.
She's not a fish person. That was revealed at what I'm looking at the episodes. What episode was that?
It was the Dark Purple.
Dark Purple, yeah. That was an interesting episode.
Anyway, Susan Strong, I like her.
Susan Strong, that's another one of our 30 to 50 rotations.
She turns my heart on, as they say.
Really interesting.
That's what the lyrics of her song is, Dylan.
Interesting. Okay, so let's look ahead to stakes. So at the end of my overview article, I'm like, okay, the show kind of has this flaw in that it's just cycling through elements, so it can't truly achieve truly great storytelling. Whether you agree with that or not, that was my argument. And then I say, but we are temporarily going to lift that restriction with Stakes, which will only focus on 4 characters. So that is very exciting. I think Stakes is the 8 episodes that the show could produce within the next, 5 years that have the highest potential.
We'll see.
In addition, we are returning many great people, including Akko. I don't know if we're returning it. Rebecca Sugar's kind of coming
Our
back.
Sugar. She's voicing.
She's a song and is voicing someone. I don't know if she's like
voicing her mom.
Her mom.
Marceline's mom.
Marceline's mom. Yeah. That's
wow. How metaphorical and symbolic is that?
Told in 8 parts, Stakes details Marceline's desire to no longer be a vampire. After Bubblegum attempts to alter her vampire physiology with science, 5 of Marceline's greatest foes return from the past, including her arch-nemesis, the Vampire King. Marceline, Bubblegum, Finn, and Jake must deal with and neutralize these new threats. So,
why doesn't Marceline want to be a vampire anymore?
I don't know.
That's a pretty sudden turn.
Do we know how Marceline was a vampire in the first place? Like, we haven't gotten to the lithosphere in a while, so I don't remember. Did the beginning of the Nightosphere. Did the show that's an actual thing. Did the show tell us the genesis of Marceline?
No.
Okay, so
she was just like, Daddy, why'd you eat my fries?
I would like to know
and then,
how
a couple years later, boom.
I would like to know how Marceline went from human child to vampire. And I would also the question is, do you want to see Marceline as a human?
Well, she's never gonna be She's half human, half demon.
Did the show say how that happened? I her
remember. Dad is the...
Yeah, but couldn't she just... that's what it's saying. The show desire to no longer be a vampire. Presumably she just turned into a full human.
Whatever Bubblegum wants to do with her science. But
good. I don't know.
Biologically, she's not a full... She's half human, half...
well, she was a human at one point, wasn't she?
She's always been half human, half demon.
Even before
because her dad is a demon.
Yeah, but didn't the demon not exist before the war?
No.
My impression of the show...
You are 50 shades of wrong, my friend.
My impression of the show is that there's before the war and after the war. Before the war, there was nothing magical. And then everything magical that we see is a result of the nuclear radiation. But the Nightosphere doesn't really make sense with that. So I just need to rewatch the first and second season. But
so does having an ice crown. So whatever.
So when does the ice crown thing take place? Is that before the war? I guess
yes, so. It takes place thousands of years before the war.
Yeah, but then candy and slime are still elements, so that doesn't explain that. Yeah.
Basically, what I'm trying to say, Dylan, is that you're wrong.
You're not explaining why I'm wrong. Though.
Okay, you know what? All right, let's go.
No, honestly, I want to know. Why was she half demon before the...
Hunson Abadir, Lord of Evil, Marceline's father and ruler of the Nightosphere. He is a powerful, deathless demon.
Yes, I understand, but demons could be created in theory from radiation.
Have you seen Marceline as a child? Have you seen?
She has the teeth, but that's it, right?
She has the teeth and the ears and the skin.
Yeah, but we don't really have a frame of reference for how humans are supposed to look on the show.
Oh my god,
that's kind of true, though. We really don't.
So much.
We only know of.
Hold on, I am directing you.
I mean, I believe you. I also am someone who doesn't believe outside source material. I mean, I understand. Don't link me to the image. I understand what she looks like.
Yeah, what I'm trying to say is she's like the only thing that really makes her a vampire is like the bite marks and like her powers and stuff.
Hold on, the image is loading 3 times apparently. But okay, even if she's transforming even if it's not back into human, maybe Bubblegum can alter her DNA so that she can be the full human.
Whatever Bubblegum wants to do.
I don't see the bite.
Maybe she'll make her into a piece of gum.
I mean, that's what she is.
So
right?
that Bubblegum can absorb her and then Bubblegum can be all powerful. She'll be twice the Bubblegum that she is now.
That is where the show is going for sure. Okay, we've figured it out.
Who's this we stuff?
You figured it out. I'm sorry. I don't want to encroach on your theory. Your Bubblegum theory.
I'm just mad because you're not believing that Marceline is half demon.
My question is, does the show explicitly state this? Like, this is not just me for Adventure Time. I'm like this with every show. Like, I'm like, is the show explicitly stating this or is the wiki making stuff up? That's my question. Like, I understand that.
I wish you could see how many links I'm spamming at Dylan right now.
It's a lot of links. I will do, again, I haven't seen these, the Demon World episodes like in quite a while. So I apologize for being wrong about this. I don't know. It's not a relevant aspect. It hasn't been a relevant aspect of the show's mythology in a while. So I guess that is now relevant again for Steak. So I need to read up on it. Cool.
Whatever.
Last comments on I don't know. So we're hoping for some bubbly and stuff in Steaks.
I mean, but like, again, I don't want to appear shallow. I don't know.
It's not shallow to just only to have this as your favorite mythological aspect.
Tumblr thinks otherwise.
Tumblr thinks a lot of things. Personally, future things in the show, I love Flame Princess, and I want to see more Flame Princess.
I don't know what I want to see.
What else do I want to see? I want to see more Root Beer Guy. I don't want Dirt Beer Guy. And
I want people to be nice to Ice King.
I just rewatched
the friend one.
The
Simon and Marcy. Which one?
The first one, whatever the first one was. What was missing? And
no, that was Bubblegum and Marceline.
Yeah, but okay, no, Anne's part of the other one.
I remember you.
I remember you, yeah. And that is it's a complicated thing whether you should be nice to Ice King or not. And I remember you telling me to watch.
I don't know.
It's tough, yeah. Also, I want to see where we are on Lena Dunham. I don't know what's going on with Lena Dunham.
What?
Whatever. I forget the name of the character.
I saw her dad's paintings the other day.
Betty. Betty is voiced by Lena Dunham.
What?
Yes, she is. It's very obvious if you follow Lena Dunham's work.
I'm looking it up.
Betty is obviously voiced by Lena Dunham. So I want to see in theory, at the end of
my God!
It's obviously true. At the end of...
No, because I don't know what she sounds like.
If you watch Girls, you will understand.
No, I don't care.
Like. Girls is incredibly good. Last we saw Betty in that really weird episode with Magic Man. Betty,
yeah, that was really weird.
Losing her mind apparently. So and turning into the Ice King version. So I want to see Betty again. I want to see how that relates to Ice King.
You forgot your floaties.
That episode was absurdly weird. Like one of the weirdest the show has done.
It's very surreal.
Magic Man is interesting. I don't know. Okay, so there we go. Last comments on anything. Let me know what you thought of our Adventure Time.
I feel like I'm better at articles than I am at podcasting. TBH.
You're better at composing your thoughts in those, but...
Yes, I am, because Dylan doesn't give me outlines, and it drives me insane!
Your unique voice comes across clearer, though, on audio. So, not like...
What does that even mean?
Not like your literal voice. Like, you know how, like, the very good thing about your articles is your, like, style. And you're kind of trying to mimic how you like, say things. So both are good, but it's clear in your...
I wrote my artist statement in that style.
Nice. I really like that style.
I'll show that to you later.
Cool. Okay. I'm Dylan Hysen. That's Sam Quattro.
Yeah, thanks.
With the unique style over there. You can find
I'm sitting in neon orange shorts.
Oh man, we're just playing "Style" by Taylor Swift right now. That's what the song is.
My friend has like a zine that's just pictures of Harry Styles with that song like lyrics posted over him. It's like it's in her studio and it's just pinned up.
That's
and she found it on the ground somewhere. Anyway,
interesting. Okay, yeah. You can find our social media links at overlyanimated.com. Let me know what you thought of this Adventure Time discussion. I apologize for being wrong. I will try to not be wrong next time. To be fair, there's a lot of stuff to not be wrong on in the show. So we'll see. To me, it just doesn't make sense if everything's not the result of the nuclear apocalypse.
Candy and slime are an element. So.
Apparently, Candy and slime were not the result of the nuclear apocalypse. So there you go. I think the show is less eloquent if the magic elements are not all uniform, but that's just the way my mind works.
It's surrealist. Who cares?
I would prefer the past stuff to be not surrealist, but that's just the way it is. We're going to be talking about stakes whenever we are both available to podcast on it. We'll talk about all 8 episodes in some form of multiple podcasts. So there you go. And yeah, next podcast coming up our Wednesday, we have Star Wars Rebels and Moonbeam City, and then Ruby on Sunday probably, and not Adventure and Steven Universe not for forever because that show's never coming back.
Yeah.
Yep.
R.I.P. Steven Universe.
Rip Steven Universe. Thanks Cartoon Network for just taking the show off the schedule. And then
has the Crewniverse said anything?
Nope.
Laura, is her name Lauren or Laura? Nonetheless, Zook,
yeah, I think it's Lauren.
She's been drawing some real cool fan art.
Nice.
Of Bubbling, anyway.
Of Bubbling, nice. So
I was reading her webcomic the other day. It's cool.
Oh, nice.
Anyway.
Cool. So we'll talk more about Adventure Time next week. And thanks, guys, for listening. And that's it.
It's been like an hour.
Yeah, this is one of our longer ones. Well, there you go. Our first Adventure Time podcast.
Adventure Time Thought Dump.
There you go. So, okay. Thanks for listening, guys. See you next time. Bye.
No, Dylan, we didn't say the patrons.
Oh, well, before we do that, I'll say the patrons. I forgot to do that last time, too.
Oh, okay. You doofus.
So we had so that was a fake buy, very quickly, if I can scroll to it. Thanks to you can support us on patreon.com/overlyanimated. Thanks to our current patrons, Shayna, Mitch, Cordell, Beatrice, Nate, Andy, and Jamie, aka Hey Now, Beaver, Mitch, Cordell, University, Beach, Strange Buzzwick, you're a mailman. Okay. Thank you, guys. We'll see you next time. Bye.
I hope that you're getting your money's worth, guys.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.